Did you know that half of London's residents are struggling to afford basic living expenses? Or that Manchester's rent prices have increased by over 20% in just 2 years? These aren't just numbers. They're real issues that are making life in some of the UK's biggest cities harder than ever. And here's the shocking truth. Things are getting worse, not better. Picture this. You've just landed your dream job, but the rent is so high you can barely afford groceries. Or you spend hours stuck in traffic every single day, just trying to get to work or school. It sounds like a nightmare, right? But for many people living in the UK's most famous cities, this is their reality. In today's video, we're going to reveal 10 UK cities where you must leave before 2026. Trust me, you won't want to stay in these cities for much longer. Whether it's due to skyrocketing housing costs, worsening crime rates, or pollution that's affecting your health. We've got the inside scoop on what's going wrong and why staying in these cities could seriously impact your future. So, if you want to know which cities are headed for disaster and why you should consider relocating ASAP, keep watching. This is one video you don't want to miss. The truth about where to live might surprise you, and your future self will thank you for watching until the very end. Stay tuned. Number 10. Nottingham. Nottingham, a city steeped in history and famously associated with Robin Hood, is facing some significant challenges that could make it harder to live in by 2025. Once a thriving industrial hub, Nottingham's economy has seen a sharp decline, especially in its traditional manufacturing sectors. As a result, unemployment rates have been rising and job opportunities are becoming scarcer. While the city has tried to reinvent itself with tech and creative industries, it's struggling to provide sufficient well-paying jobs for its growing population. Housing is also becoming a major issue. The city's property market has seen a steady rise in house prices and rents, making it increasingly unaffordable for locals, especially for younger people or families trying to get on the property ladder. In fact, some of Nottingham's most popular areas have seen rental prices increase by over 10% in the past year alone. On top of that, crime rates have been steadily climbing in certain districts, making some parts of the city feel unsafe for residents. Add to this the lack of proper infrastructure in certain areas and Nottingham's already overstretched public services, and it's clear that the city's future is uncertain. If you're still living in Nottingham, it might be a good idea to look for opportunities in cities with better economic prospects and a higher standard of living. Relocating now could save you from dealing with worsening conditions in the years ahead. Number 9. Sheffield. Sheffield, once known as the steel capital of the UK, has faced significant economic shifts over the past few decades. The city's industrial roots have been replaced with a service-based economy, and the transition hasn't been easy. Despite efforts to diversify, Sheffield still struggles with high unemployment rates, especially in areas that once thrived on steel production and manufacturing. This lack of diverse job opportunities has left many residents looking for better prospects elsewhere. In terms of housing, Sheffield's property market is showing worrying trends. While the city offers relatively affordable living compared to places like London or Manchester, rents are steadily increasing, and home ownership is becoming out of reach for many, with an increasing demand for housing and not enough supply to match. Prices are expected to rise further in the coming years. The city also faces issues with transportation and infrastructure. Many areas are poorly connected, and the existing transport systems struggle to accommodate the growing population. With the city expanding, public services are stretched thin, which further compounds the problems residents face. Lastly, Sheffield's crime rates have been rising in certain districts, contributing to a growing sense of insecurity in the area. If you're still living in Sheffield, now might be the time to consider other cities that offer a better quality of life and more stable economic opportunities. Relocation could be a smart move before conditions worsen. Number 8. Coventry. Coventry, once a symbol of post-war recovery and industrial success, is now facing a series of challenges that could make it an increasingly difficult place to live. While the city has seen significant urban regeneration in recent years, the reality for many residents is less promising. One of the most pressing issues in Coventry is the skyrocketing cost of living, particularly when it comes to housing. Despite being one of the more affordable cities in the UK in the past, property prices and rental costs have been rising steadily, pushing many families and young professionals out of the market. The city's employment prospects are also a concern. Coventry has a high reliance on the automotive and manufacturing industries, but as these sectors continue to struggle, job security becomes an increasing worry for many. With fewer high-paying opportunities and more competition in the job market, residents are finding it harder to maintain their standard of living. In addition, Coventry suffers from poor transportation infrastructure, which makes commuting a nightmare for many residents. The city's public transportation system is underdeveloped, with limited routes and infrequent services, adding to the frustration of daily life. Finally, Coventry has experienced rising crime rates in certain areas, contributing to a growing sense of insecurity. If you're living in Coventry, it may be time to consider relocating to a city with better economic stability and improved living conditions. Relocating sooner could give you a fresh start before things worsen. Number 7. Liverpool. Liverpool, known for its rich cultural heritage and its history as a major port city, is facing some serious challenges that could make it a less desirable place to live by 2026. While the city is home to world-class music, art, and sports, it's also grappling with economic decline in several key sectors. The traditional industries that once powered Liverpool's economy have largely disappeared, and despite efforts to revitalise the city, unemployment rates remain higher than the national average. This has led to a lack of job opportunities, particularly for young people entering the workforce, leaving many with fewer prospects for stable, well-paid employment. In addition to economic struggles, housing affordability is becoming a growing concern in Liverpool. Over the past few years, the cost of renting and buying property has risen significantly, especially in popular areas close to the city centre. As gentrification continues to spread, long-time residents are being priced out of the market. This, coupled with the increasing cost of living, is putting a strain on local families and young professionals alike. Liverpool also faces issues with high crime rates in certain areas, which contribute to a sense of insecurity for residents. While some neighbourhoods have improved, others remain troubled by persistent issues of antisocial behaviour and violence. Combined with the city's infrastructure problems, including poor public transport options and congested roads, it's clear that Liverpool is struggling to keep up with the demands of its growing population. If you're still living in Liverpool, it may be time to reconsider your options and explore other cities that offer better economic opportunities, affordable housing, and a higher quality of life. Moving sooner rather than later could save you from facing more difficulties ahead. Number 6. Leeds. Leeds, one of the largest cities in the north of England, is often seen as a vibrant hub for business, culture, and education. However, beneath its bustling exterior, the city is grappling with several challenges that could make it a less appealing place to live in the coming years. One of the most significant issues in Leeds is the soaring cost of living. Property prices have been increasing rapidly in recent years, and this trend shows no signs of slowing down. Rents have surged, particularly in the city centre and surrounding areas, making it more difficult for young professionals, families, and students to find affordable accommodation. With fewer affordable housing options, many are finding themselves priced out of the market, pushing them to consider moving to other cities in the region. The job market in Leeds is another area of concern. While the city has a strong economy, particularly in finance, legal services, and tech, many workers are facing low wages relative to the high living costs. This disparity is causing frustration among residents who feel that despite the growing number of job opportunities, their earnings are not keeping up with the rising costs of living. Moreover, Leeds faces issues with income inequality, with some areas of the city experiencing high levels of poverty and deprivation, while others continue to prosper. Traffic congestion is another persistent issue in Leeds, which has become known for its gridlocked roads and overcrowded public transport. Commuting can be a nightmare, with delays and overcrowded trains causing stress for workers and students alike. If you're still living in Leeds, it may be time to start planning a move to a city that offers more affordable living, better job prospects, and improved infrastructure. Relocating to a more balanced and sustainable city could provide you with a better quality of life in the long term. Number 5. Glasgow. Glasgow, Scotland's largest city, has long been known for its rich cultural scene, vibrant arts, and impressive architecture. However, beneath the surface, Glasgow is struggling with several challenges that could make it a less desirable place to live by 2026. One of the most pressing issues is the city's economy, which has been in a state of transition for many years. Historically known for its heavy industries, Glasgow has struggled to adapt as these industries have declined. While the city has seen growth in sectors like education, technology, and healthcare, job security remains a concern, especially for those in the manufacturing and traditional industrial sectors. The housing market in Glasgow is another area of worry. In recent years, house prices and rents have been steadily increasing, with demand for housing outstripping supply. Popular neighbourhoods are seeing rapid gentrification, leading to rising costs and pushing lower-income residents further out of the city. For many, finding affordable housing in desirable areas has become a difficult, if not impossible, task. The rising cost of living in general, combined with stagnant wages, means that people are often forced to choose between high housing costs or long, inconvenient commutes. Glasgow is also grappling with high crime rates in certain districts, particularly in the city centre and surrounding areas. While efforts have been made to address this, many parts of Glasgow still face persistent issues with antisocial behaviour and violence. Furthermore, Glasgow's public transport system, though improving, remains overwhelmed, with frequent delays and overcrowding on trains and buses, especially during peak hours. If you're living in Glasgow, it might be worth considering relocation to a city with more job opportunities, better living conditions, and improved safety. Moving now could provide a better future for you and your family. Number 4. Bristol. Bristol, once considered one of the best places to live in the UK, is now facing a series of challenges that could make it a difficult city to live in by 2025. One of the most significant issues is the skyrocketing cost of living. The city has seen rapid growth in property prices, with housing costs rising at a much faster pace than wages. Renting is becoming unaffordable for many, and buying a home is now out of reach for most residents, particularly younger generations trying to get onto the property ladder. Despite its reputation as a tech hub and a centre for innovation, Bristol's job market is struggling to keep up with the rising costs of living. While there are plenty of job opportunities in certain sectors, wages are not rising in line with the high cost of housing and daily expenses. This is causing a growing income disparity between the city's wealthier areas and the struggling working-class neighbourhoods. Additionally, Bristol suffers from traffic congestion and poor public transport. The city's infrastructure was not built to handle the growing population, and the roads are often gridlocked during peak hours. Public transport is under pressure, leading to delays and overcrowded buses and trains. If you're living in Bristol, it might be time to consider relocating to a more affordable city with better infrastructure and a higher quality of life. Number 3. Birmingham. Birmingham, the second largest city in the UK, has always been considered an important economic and cultural hub. However, the city is currently facing several significant challenges that could make it a less desirable place to live by 2026. One of the major issues is overcrowding. Birmingham's population has been steadily increasing, but the city's infrastructure hasn't kept up. The result? Congested roads, overcrowded public transport, and a constant strain on local services. Traffic is often at a standstill during peak hours, and public transport options are inadequate to serve the growing population, causing frustration for commuters. Another pressing issue is the rising cost of living, particularly in terms of housing. While Birmingham has traditionally been more affordable than cities like London, property prices and rents have been on the rise in recent years. Many neighbourhoods are experiencing gentrification, which is driving up housing costs, making it increasingly difficult for long-time residents to afford to stay in their own neighbourhoods. The gap between affluent and working-class areas is widening, leading to greater economic disparity within the city. Birmingham also faces significant challenges when it comes to crime rates. Certain areas of the city are experiencing high levels of violence and antisocial behaviour, which contributes to a sense of insecurity for many residents. The city's efforts to tackle crime have had limited success, and residents are often left feeling unsafe in some districts. If you're living in Birmingham, it may be time to consider relocation. With the increasing cost of living, poor infrastructure, and rising crime, moving to another city with better opportunities, more affordable housing, and a higher quality of life might be the best decision for you and your family. Number 2. Manchester. Manchester, a city once known for its thriving industrial past and vibrant cultural scene, is facing some serious challenges that could make it a less desirable place to live by 2026. The first major issue is the soaring cost of living. While Manchester has become a hub for business, technology, and culture, this growth has also brought about skyrocketing housing costs. Property prices have surged in recent years, particularly in the city centre, making it difficult for many residents to afford to buy or rent homes. Even young professionals and students are feeling the strain, as rental prices continue to rise faster than wages. Additionally, the city's infrastructure is struggling to keep pace with its growing population. Traffic congestion is a constant problem, with the city's roads often clogged during peak hours, leading to long commutes and frustration for drivers. Public transport, while improving, is still not adequate to meet the demand of the city's expanding population. Overcrowded trains and delayed buses have become a daily reality for many commuters, making the city less convenient to live in. Manchester is also dealing with high crime rates in certain areas. While the city has seen improvements in some neighbourhoods, others are still struggling with issues like antisocial behaviour, theft, and violent crime. This growing sense of insecurity, combined with the rising cost of living, is pushing many residents to reconsider their decision to stay in the city long term. If you're currently living in Manchester, it may be worth considering relocation. With the increasing housing costs, traffic problems, and safety concerns, moving to a more affordable, less congested, and safer city could offer a better future for you and your family. Number 1. London. London, the capital city of the UK, has long been considered a global powerhouse for business, culture, and opportunity. However, as we approach 2026, the reality is that London is becoming an increasingly difficult and expensive city to live in. One of the most significant challenges facing Londoners is the astronomical cost of living. Housing costs in London have reached unsustainable levels, with average house prices well above £500,000. Rent prices have followed suit, forcing many residents to either move out of central areas or settle for smaller, more expensive properties further from the city centre. For young professionals and families, this is a major hurdle, as wages simply aren't keeping up with the soaring costs. Another issue affecting London is overcrowding. The city's infrastructure is under severe strain, with the population continuously growing. Traffic congestion has become a daily frustration, and despite recent improvements, public transport is often overcrowded and delayed. The city's famous underground system, the Tube, struggles to accommodate the growing demand, leaving many commuters facing uncomfortable, long journeys each day. Moreover, London is facing a rise in crime rates, particularly in certain boroughs. While the city has seen investment in policing and public safety, areas still suffer from violent crime, theft, and antisocial behaviour. This creates a sense of insecurity among residents and is driving some people to seek a safer environment elsewhere. Finally, air pollution in London is reaching dangerous levels, with some areas exceeding recommended limits. This poses a significant health risk to residents, particularly those with respiratory conditions or young children. If you're living in London, it may be time to reconsider your options. The high cost of living, overcrowding, crime concerns, and air quality issues make it harder for people to live a healthy and financially stable life. Relocating to a city with more affordable housing, better infrastructure, and a safer environment could be the solution to improving your quality of life. And there you have it, 10 UK cities you might want to leave before 2026. Whether it's the high cost of living, poor infrastructure, or rising crime rates, these cities are facing serious challenges that could make your life harder. But the good news is, now you know which cities to avoid and which ones might offer a better quality of life. We've put a lot of effort into gathering all this information to help you make the best decision for your future. So, if this video helped you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's just one click, but it means a lot to us. We work hard to bring you content that makes a real difference. Now we want to hear from you. Which city do you think is the most difficult to live in right now? Or maybe you disagree with our list. Let us know in the comments below. Your feedback helps us make even better videos for you in the future. Stay tuned for more tips, guides, and real talk about the places that matter most. Thank you for watching. And remember, your next move could be the key to a better life.